What's up, truck drivers? It's Kenny again. I wanted to do an update on this Rand McNally TND 750. If you saw my other video, I was having a lot of problems with the navigation on the device. It was, every time I would go to a truck stop, it would try to send me 5 to 10 miles down the road to make a U-turn and come back. Well, I figured out what the problem is, or was. So, when you go into the settings, into the route settings, and then you look at the avoids, there's a little box in there that says, avoid small roads. And that box was checked. Now, I don't know if I may have checked that box when I was going through the initial setup, or if it just came with it checked, but either way, that was the problem. Here's the reason why I didn't realize it, okay? And this is something that you should take note of. Before I made that last video, I went through all the settings and checked and tested and stuff. But here's the thing. In order for those changes at least in those avoids, in order for those to take effect, you had to restart the GPS. So I had unchecked that box and then gone back and checked it, and it was still doing it. But it was still doing it because I had not restarted the device. So if your GPS is routing you all kinds of screwy ways with the TND 750, that's the new Rand McNally 2.0 software, if that is happening to you and it's like making you go 20 miles out of the way to get to a truck stop, that's probably what the problem is. Because ever since I unchecked that box and restarted the device, it seems to have been doing good. I've been running it for a solid week or so since I figured it out. So hopefully that's helpful, and that does change my opinion of this device back to, yeah, it's an okay GPS and you should probably buy it. Apologize if I threw you guys off with that initial review, but I'm pretty sure that I had not checked that box myself, and other people had been having the same issues. So now I'm going to talk about some other issues with the device that are there, okay? I've had a pretty good run through of this device, and even though I had that little mishap with the navigation, the fact of the matter is that even if I check stay off small roads, it shouldn't be routing me 15 miles extra to get to a truck stop and stuff. I do kind of understand it. But see, if you're an oversized load or something like that, you should have entered that into your truck parameters. So I don't really understand why I did that, but there's some other issues with the device as well, okay? Number one, and the one that has been bothering me the most and giving me a hard time, is say you set a stop, okay? So you're on your trip and you set in a stop for a truck stop, okay? You cannot then, there is no way for you to go and look and see how long it takes you to get to your final destination. It may reroute me to get to that fuel stop based on where my company told me to fuel. And then I need to be able to look and see if that's increased my ETA to the final destination. But you can't do that with this device. Now, somebody in a Facebook group had said that if you go to, route options and hit route overview and then go to summary, it'll tell you. And at first it does appear to do that, but it doesn't, because that summary that it's giving you, man, this motherfucking prime truck, that summary that it's giving you is from where you started the trip. So if when you first start the trip, it tells you it's going to be 17 hours to your destination, and then you set a stop 4 or 5 hours later, and you go back in and look at that summary, it's still going to say 17 hours. It doesn't actually tell you your real-time ETA to that final. It only tells you what it was when you first started the trip. So the only way to check the ETA in between when you've already got a stop set is to cancel that stop, and then it'll down to the bottom like normal give you a regular ETA toward there. I don't know why they removed that feature. You used to be able to just click on the ETA and then say to final or whatever, and it would give you the correct ETA. That needs to be corrected. Drivers need that functionality. Okay. Another issue. My truck only does 65 miles an hour. Okay. And on my 740, you know, it gives you it gives you the option to increase the ETA. So you can increase the ETA some, or you can increase the ETA more, and it will basically give you a longer ETA to cushion you for your speed and stuff like that. And on my old 740, I would have it set to increase ETA more, because some would give me like just a little bit of cushion, but more gave me just that extra cushion in case I hit some traffic or something like that, you know what I mean? Well, with this one, I had it set to increase ETA. At first I had it to some, okay? And I found that it's just a little too tight. Like it is pretty accurate with that one pushed, okay? But it doesn't really give me as much of a cushion as I'm used to. And so I went in there and I changed it to increase ETA more. And it was fine for the first couple of trips. But then, on this last trip, man, it was way off. I mean, it was way off by like 2.5 hours or something. It was from California to Missouri. I gotta get around this fucking prime truck. Hold on. This motherfucker's just too slow. But anyway, it was from California to Missouri, and you know, it seemed like I was gaining too much, because usually I outrun my GPS by a little bit, and on that one I was outrunning it by like 20 minutes or so a day, you know, and I thought that was a little much, but I still thought that was acceptable. Well, then that last day was running up, what was it, 54 and up through Liberal and all that, and I woke up in the morning and it said it was going to take me 11 hours and 20 minutes, and I had already, based on the ETA it was providing me, I had thought that I wasn't going to quite make that load, and I had been back and forth with dispatch and all that stuff. But so when I woke up in the morning on that last day, it said 11 hours and 20 minutes. Let me tell you something. Going through all them little towns and all that stuff, I think that it has a hard time with that, because I ended up having an hour to spare. So I outrun the GPS that day by an hour and a half or better. Like, more like an hour and 45 minutes it was off. So if you're using this device, don't use the increase ETA more function. You can use the increase ETA some, but that more function is way off, and it needs to be addressed. Something seriously wrong with it, that it would add, you know, over the total of that whole trip, like 3 hours, probably 2.5 hours to the trip. I mean, like, nobody's going to be that far behind. Nobody's truck is that slow that it needs to increase it that much. Let me see, what else? There was one day, okay, that I have been a lot of times unplugging it at night and shutting it off, because the last one had issues with the charger, so I don't want to leave it in all the time. And I forgot to plug it back in the morning. So the battery had run down until it was in the orange. It wasn't in the red. It was in the orange. It was probably close to the red before I noticed it. So I noticed it and I plugged it back in. And I'm going to tell you right now, this charger will not outrun it once it gets down in the orange. Like, it kept running down and it was not charging up. And ended up, what I had to do was shut the screen off for about 30 minutes or so. You know, I did it a couple of different times. I had to open it up, check it, and pop it back off, and let it charge with the screen off. and then it ended up eventually catching back up. But if you run it with the screen all the way wide open and the battery has already run down some, it will keep running down even if you've got it plugged in. So you got to be sure you got it plugged in at all times while you're driving, or else, that's probably the problem that people are having, that you see in these reviews where they say it won't hold a charge, because it does just fine if I have it plugged in while it's in the green and from in the morning. But yeah, when I let it run down some and then plug it in, it don't keep up. So those three things are the only real things that I've noticed about it. There's some other more piddly stuff, like the icons for the truck stops. When you're looking on the map, they're tiny and you can't see them. What else? I don't know, mostly just piddly stuff like that. It's like, I don't need to see that big 3D building next to me that I'm not even going to. I need to see the big old, you want to do a 3D building? Do the pilots and the Flying J's and all that. Do those in 3D. Those are the ones we need to see. Not skyscrapers and shit like they're doing. Anyway, I would say overall buy it. There's some issues with it, like there's going to be with any of them, but I was wrong about the navigation. Either it was my own error, or that button was checked when I bought it for some reason. The other things I think are easily overlooked, except I really don't like the not showing me my whole ETA. The only way I can get it is to cancel those stops. I don't like that, but it's easy to work around. So I hope